Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and as always before this video starts, I want to express my gratitude towards those who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal or Super Thanks. I really appreciate your help, so thank you friends and have a blessed day. Today's video I will start with the Zaporozhian front, and to be more specific, Orikhiv direction. In the last 24 hours, news coming out from this sector were contradicting, if not complete opposite of each other. Most neutral and pro-Russian sources claim that situation in Robotyne is stable, and in fact Russians were able to gain upper hand to a point where they were able to successfully counter-attack Ukrainians and retake portion of Robotyne settlement, and most importantly the fields to the west of Robotyne where important trench lines are located. Those reports suggests that Ukrainians are now entrenched in the northern part of Robotyne. If those reports are to be true, this would mean that Russians regain initiative on this front and are now not only capable of effectively defending here in this sector, but also counterattack, thus negating whatever success Ukrainian forces had here. But if we go to Deep State map, which is a pro-Ukrainian map, and look at the situation, so here was the situation of yesterday, and here is the situation of today, they claim that the settlement of Robotyne had been completely captured by the Ukrainians. As a proof of that, they showed this photo of a Ukrainian flag waving above some building in Robotyne settlement. Looking at it and judging by this photo, they claim that this is building at the very outskirts of Robotyne, which again suggests that Russians are completely out of Robotyne settlement and the settlement is in Ukrainian control. Now, as to who to believe is up to you. I would recommend waiting out and see. If the settlement actually is in Ukrainian hands, there would be much more proof than just a photo with a flag. In any case, Robotyne still remains to be the hottest spot on the map, here in this sector where Ukrainians are mostly active. What's interesting is the change of dynamic. It would seem that here Ukrainians had almost stopped using armored assaults and instead are attacking with mostly infantry. This could only be explained by the high losses of armored vehicles by the Ukrainian side. For example, here on this video you can see Russian Lancet drone destroying Ukrainian infantry fighting vehicle. Then on this video you can see Ukrainian Kazakh infantry vehicle also being destroyed by the Russians. It is driving on the road in the direction of Robotyne, delivering troops, but as you can see they never made it to the front line. Again, this is generally the situation here on this front. Ukrainians cannot safely deliver their units to Robotyne because Russians have full fire control over the road that leads to Robotyne, and also clear visuals on the open fields, which does not allow Ukrainians to safely advance their armor on it. This forces Ukrainian troops to advance within these force lines, and this is the only way where they can relatively safely advance in the direction of Robotyne and other Russian positions around that settlement. But as you can see here on this video, Russian artillery is heavily shelling these force lines, destroying most of the Ukrainian forces before they enter Robotyne. With all information we have, it is safe to assume that Russians have created a perfect trap for the Ukrainian forces to enter, and as they do that, they are being annihilated not only as they go in, but also within the settlement. But again, please note that information of Robotyne settlement being captured by the Ukrainians is out there. What's interesting is, unlike previous times, they immediately called it a capture. In any way, once again, I advise to wait, and time would be the judge of these claims. Then from here let's quickly visit Lapkovo Piaty settlement. Ukrainians had yet again attempted at attacking in the direction of Zherebyanki and to the flank of Russian-controlled portion of Kamyansky settlement, of course in attempt to spread their zone of control and gain more territories on the tactical heights, so then they can attack in the direction of Logovo to the flank and rear of Zherebyanki and Kamyansky settlement. These attacks were unsuccessful and Ukrainians were forced to retreat. Then from here let's visit Vremivka tactical bridgehead and discuss the situation here. The triangle of Staromayorsky, Zavetne Bazhanye and Urozhaine remains to be one of the hottest spots on the map. This is where Ukrainians are mostly concentrating their assaults. They are attacking to all possible directions in attempt to cross the river and storm Zavetne Bazhanye. One of the Russian reports suggests that Russians actually hold more territories to the other side of the river, about like this. Perhaps this is the sign that Russians are constantly counterattacking Ukrainians on this front, not allowing them to gain momentum, and with that momentum storm the settlements. All in all Ukrainian attacks in the direction of Zavetne Bazhanya were unsuccessful. However, Ukrainians still continued assaulting Russian positions to the flanks of this settlement, here in attempt to destroy this salient of the Russian forces, as well as in the direction of Novodonetsk. Novodonetsk is very important for the Ukrainian forces. With it, they will be able to advance in the direction of Kremenchuk, thus endangering the very important logistical hub of the Russian forces in this sector, Staromlinivka. There were also Ukrainian assaults from the settlement of Livadne in the direction of Priutne, as well as Novodarivka. And there were reported Ukrainian assaults from Rivnopol in attempt to close off and destroy this salient right here. This Russian salient was attacked from many directions, and minor success of the Ukrainian forces are reported on this front. Then from Vremivka tactical bridgehead, let's visit Avdiivka settlement. It's been a long time since we visited this settlement. I must remind you that the settlement of Avdiivka is one of the most fortified settlements on this front, and Russians were trying to encircle the settlement in attempt to avoid storming and fighting for the settlement directly. Mostly they were successful on this front here to the northeast of the settlement. However, at some point Ukrainians greatly reinforced this front and stopped Russian advances near settlement of Stepova and Berdichi. Ever since that time, Russians and Ukrainians were fighting in positional style warfare, with occasional attempts at capturing and regaining control over settlements. In the last 24 hours, Ukrainians launched assaults in the direction of Apitne. However, that assault was unsuccessful. Then from Avdiivka, let's move to the Bakhmut front and discuss the situation on the southern flank of it. But before we actually go into this, it is being reported that a business jet that belonged to Prigozhin, the famous leader of Wagner PMC, was reportedly shot down by the anti-air system and crashed in Tverskaya Oblast. There are reports that Prigozhin himself was present on the board of the plane and as a result of that had died. Now, these news are very fresh, so take it with a pinch of salt, and I will highly advise to wait for more confirmations. In any way, this is most interesting news. I would like to hear your opinion on it, so please go to the comment section and tell me what you think about it, whether those news are true, fake, and if those were true, who was responsible for it. Now back to the Bakhmut front. In the last 24 hours, Ukrainians continuously assaulted Russian positions in front and within settlements of Zelenopilya and Kurdyumivka, as well as yet again attempted at recapturing settlement of Andreevka. These assaults were unsuccessful. Then there were Ukrainian assaults in the direction of Klishevka from all possible directions, but recent report suggests that Russians counterattacked Ukrainians and negated their small success that they were able to establish, and the situation here is now stable. Then let's move to the northern flank of Bakhmut. Traditionally, Ukrainians yet again assaulted Russian positions in the direction of Yagodnaya and Berkhivka, as well as Dubovo-Vasilivka all across this salient, but these attacks were once again unsuccessful. With this, I end today's video. I hope it was to your liking. If it was, please consider supporting it with a like, comment, and of course, if you haven't subscribed, a subscription. These actions help promote this video to a wider audience, thus spreading the message, but also motivates me to work harder. Thank you in advance. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free and great.